Roger Dodger,
Well,
Rubber Ducky.
We're live on the YouTube for the first time in months.
Yeah. Hello, YouTube.
Hello, YouTube. How's it going? Oh, this is still up there. You guys shouldn't see this. That's better.
That's top secret.
It's a little secret. It's a little secret for the patrons. They're
okay.
Yeah. So it'll go up in its finished form. Hopefully up today or tomorrow on Patreon, and then it's called Rapunzel: The Wrong Train. It's a little 8-page Rapunzel story from 2015 or 2014.
Nice.
And takes place with her as an adult, during the time she's an agent of the Department of Education.
Okay.
So I'm actually going to take this. I don't think I shared this link anywhere, so I'm going to copy this and I'm going to send that up on Twitter.
Up on the Twitter.
Yep.
Yeah. Could you share it to Facebook also?
Sure, I guess.
I mean, you don't have to. I'm saying.
Some of us don't twit.
That's true.
Oh, we twit. We are twit.
I've tried to do the Twitter thing.
I know. I don't do much twit either. Actually, I try to do that. Knows I try to, but yeah, I suck at it. I'm trying. A lot of people, a lot of comicers that I love and follow, like professionals, they do.
Is that an official term? Comicers?
Sort of. I kind of invented it. I don't know if it's fair to say I invented it, but I started using it pretty routinely a few years ago. And here's how I take it. And I got the spelling convention that I use in stuff from the word panic, right? So panic itself, it sends in a C, but if it's panicking, it has a K in it. So I spell it like this.
All right.
Right. So that means the art of creating comics, right,
Nice.
would be comicking. Yeah.
That's way easier to say. I'm creating comic books.
Yeah, it's like one of those lazy things I think was just like ignored.
Well, and it's like one of those things like, I'm a comic creator. Oh yeah, what do you do? No, I do all of it.
All of it.
Right. Yeah.
And it's sort of fun because it like kind of levels the playing field. You're not better because you're a writer or not worse because you're a writer or whatever. It's like it's an intrinsic part of it. If you're writing, if you're drawing, if you're, whatever. You can shake your head all you want, but somebody's got to dot the I's and cross the T's, Jack.
Listen, Jim Lee did it all himself, and he's turned out just fine.
It's true.
Jim Lee hired a writer after the first year, man.
Yeah. I know. I just like saying that shit because he's Jim Lee, and Jim Lee could probably just, what he should have done? You know what he should have done? Is he just should have just done straight silent comics when he was doing Image, and would anyone have cared?
Probably not.
Right. I got a poster for Jim Lee's when he did the Scooby-Doo cover on the new Scooby-Doo stuff. I got a poster for that up.
Sweet. Do you ever catch his live stream on Twitch?
No, I've seen the YouTube videos and that.
Yeah, he does. He'll do what me and Reese was trying to do here earlier. Is he'll run them both at the same time. He'll be on Twitch and YouTube.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to get the Restream app to work. And I got me and Barry on, but apparently it just doesn't like to play nice.
It's the iPad. The Apple. Surprise, Apple.
Yeah,
Surprise, Chris. I see you were a little more uniformly shaven today. Last week was a beard. Today it's a goatee.
It's still there, but
yeah.
It was getting a little furry last time.
Yes, you were. You were quite furry. It's all right though. It looked good.
I used to have a full, big old bushy beard.
Yeah. Yeah.
I miss it.
You miss it?
Yeah.
Does work shut that down then?
No, the fire department. Can't get a seal on the mask with the fire department. But yeah, I got a picture of it right there.
Jesus, you look like you belong in Montana. Damn. That looks straight beard from the 80s, man. I'll tell you what.
I combed that, brushed it. I put that Z Bites beard balm in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's E-Bites beard balm.
I really did
That's
make
good.
it. I wasn't lying. I made it.
What was it made out of?
Stuff. It's top secret.
People stuff.
No, it had like the jojoba and like all that kind of stuff. I checked all the
Okay.
different oils and that and figured out.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, the metal joins us.
Whoa, that's what the metal looks like.
Yes, I look very similar to my avatar.
It looks very much like he did last week.
Was I? Well,
No,
Yeah,
I think last week
right.
I just had my a picture of me on there.
Did you?
that's yeah. Matt's like, look at Matt's all fucked up now. He's like,
I gotta
Yeah,
say,
yeah. It was a
Like-
manga picture I drew in the Tite Kubo's Bleach style.
that's what it was. Yeah. See, I'm not crazy. Matt's the one that's crazy.
I'm actually gonna go back and check last week's post just to confirm this.
He's serious.
Pretty sure. I don't know. I could have been on camera. I don't remember.
Oh, maybe you weren't. I'm looking at the video and it is just the avatar.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just used to seeing you, man. I don't know.
Well, it doesn't like help that I based my avatar off myself, so they look very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Mhm.
me too, but that's just it depends on which one.
So is this really an animated avatar that we're talking to?
Is this really?
Well, I don't know. You have to make that out for yourself.
Well, good seeing you, Metal. How you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing fine. Doing just dandy.
Good to hear. I'm not sure. Chris, you were on here last time Metal was on here, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not sure if you guys have ever talked outside of this or anything like that. Chris has worked with us for some time, Metal. And he also has his own comic, I think we talked about last time, Z-Bites. And the Metal does his own comic also.
Yeah, I do a plethora of things.
Yes, he does.
So one of the things that we are about these days. Okay. One of the things that we're about these days is getting ready for the High Plains Minicon coming up here in about 5 weeks. And so we've got a lot of stuff to get ready for that. I don't know. It's going to be a weird one this year, Barry. A lot of our regulars are Colorado Front Range comicers, and they're terrified.
Yeah, they're locked down.
of Corona. So,
Well,
and I it sounds flippant when I say it like that
It
because
was.
I don't care. I'm so like emotionally immune to the whole thing. That it's hard for me to like I don't want to be unsympathetic or a jerk, but I'm by nature a jerk
man.
and I have no sympathy. So it's really hard for me to fake it right now.
Oh yeah, I was done with this stuff before it even started.
Yeah.
So right, and like I still try to put up the front that I am sympathetic, but here's the thing. Whoa, we're just gonna switch around. I don't know what
You quit jumping around.
Matt.
I didn't know I could do that.
Fucking with the universe, man.
Matt could tell it.
Anyway, but people were like, there's a meme going around that people are like saying like, do you think it's just people are just too embarrassed now to admit that they were wrong or just so horribly fooled?
Well, I think that there's part of it, but I think the other part of it is that the legitimate truth that like it's real, right? I mean, as far as like it's an actual disease that
Right,
will
it's an actual
kill,
virus. It's an actual virus.
and it is relatively contagious, and it will kill thousands of people.
It targets bad, especially unhealthy people. It's genetically it's designed, and you can tell it's designed if you look at people who have gotten sick. If you just study the cases, the accurate cases, not to be like all doctory, but
Right.
look at that.
But the thing about it is it's just like every other contagion. right? I believe naturally occurring. It's going to do its thing. It's going to run through the population. It's already in the population. You can't stop it.
Right.
You could slow it down, but more than 50% of people that contract it will have no symptoms. 99.98% of the people that get it will get over it.
Well, it's like the flu. It is essentially the same as a flu. Every year, people have flu. You cannot contain the flu. Same with this. Anyone who has come into contact, like everyone has had some sort of contact with it,
or will within.
How many states have how many hospitals, major hospitals, or even just not major hospitals? And then how many people have come into contact and who have traveled before and after? It's just the math doesn't make sense. But anyway, that's my 2 cents on it. And
what's funny is assuming that this was lab made, right, actually makes it even better. Because statistically, we should have just never locked down and let people hit herd immunity. Because the problem with natural occurring viruses is it takes a really long time for them to adapt to not kill their hosts. Because it's really bad to pass your genes on if you keep killing your hosts and they can't spread between each other.
You can't do anything about it.
Right? It's really bad for like any evolutionary design of any sort.
Yeah.
But if you adapt and become just like a mild cold type thing, then you spread really well. And being something that's likely genetically modified, it's going to adapt a lot faster.
Yep.
Yeah. The whole thing's so crazy.
Yeah.
And there's the number of, the thing that gets me crazy about the whole deal, and it really gets me nuts, is like the number of businesses that are just closed because of all this chaos.
Oh, yeah.
And doctors have been run out of business because they weren't allowed to see patients for 2 months, and that killed the entire business.
Yeah. Well, if you look at the small, so who is going to be affected by this? And I can get conspiracy theorists pretty bad about this stuff, but I'm not going to right now. But if you look at who is affected by this versus who's not going to be, who's not going to be are the huge businesses that are so financially invested by banks who aren't going to let them fail. And they're essential. Yeah, and it's the mom and pop businesses or smaller doctors or smaller businesses in general. And what's funny also is many of these smaller businesses nowadays make up like almost 35%, getting close to 40% of the large expanding industry in the United States itself. I'm not sure what the numbers are outside the United States for other countries, but growing businesses were from people like me and you operating in their basement or their garage or whatever like that, selling through the internet and advertising on all the social media platforms that we have, because we're now able because of the internet and all the different things. So,
and it varies where you're at too. Like here in Texas, I think upwards of 63% of businesses are small, like private owned and stuff like that.
Yep. And it hurt, like no matter what, it hurt these businesses. And those businesses were taking a larger and larger chunk out of the pie every year.
Mm-hmm.
I can keep going, but it's the numbers are out there. You can look them up.
Yeah, it's just crazy to me. We lost our doctor, so that's one of the. Personally, I'm annoyed. Our doctor was just like they couldn't take the hit anymore, so they wrapped up shop.
That sucked, man.
And so we're like, I don't want to make it seem like a pity party, but I don't like doctors, but my kids went for various maladies, and they're in a spot where they need prescriptions, and we got to try to find a doctor, and
right. Well, yeah,
huge freaking hassle.
You get in
my wife gets me to have somebody to talk to somebody about this stupid psoriasis, and then there's no doctors anymore, so it's just like
well, it dominoes, right? You have a small issue becomes a larger issue, and it's frustrating as hell. And a lot of people have been affected, and a lot of different little small businesses have been affected. And like the three of us, Metal, we're just at a coffee shop. That we're lucky because our area is I don't know if rebellious is the right term, but the coffee shop did a good job, and she does a great job in general, just like advertising and keeping it afloat. But there were other people that suffered, obviously, and that coffee shop did not shut down. There's a small period of time where it was like shut down, but they went to pick up at the curbside or delivery. But it's just a lot that were affected by it, a lot that lost money. And
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
It's kind of the same here.
Yeah.
Like I'm at the very southern end of Dallas County. Like the city I'm in is literally the last one before you hit the next county.
Mhm.
So like Dallas proper, really kind of like left-leaning authoritarian as almost every big city gets these days. But yeah, as soon as you get out of it into the suburbs and stuff, most people don't care. There's like a taqueria down the street from me that never shut down, even though they were told to, because there was a countywide ordinance. So there's a few different places. I went there. There's people sitting there. They had their masks pulled down. They just had them to get in, so people weren't asking any questions. And then once you're in, everybody was like normal distance, eating their food and stuff like that.
See, those are the real Americans right there.
Yeah. And the problem is, real Americans, the people who run the place are immigrants too. And a lot of times I find that the people who immigrated here the proper way happen to be more American than half the people born here that I know.
Because I think so many times, like the people that have been here, they kind of take it all for granted. They're just sort of like oh, this is da 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 da. I'm like, dude, it takes some work to be an American. It takes some.
That's it, man. We got fat, we got rich and fat. We lived off the name of our fathers and forefathers.
I only got one of those, and it wasn't rich.
I got neither.
Yeah, all right, but
the point remains.
Right? Yeah, damn it! Don't take this from me, Chris.
Couldn't help it.
That was funny. That was good.
But anyway, yeah. So that stuff sucks. F that stuff. It's like I feel like it's like a flu. Not it's serious stuff, but still the same application applies, which should have been observed.
And for me, the biggest thing was just like, is like, look at the historical background, right? Like we didn't stop our society when the Spanish flu hit, right? And that was way more dangerous than this. You know? And I mean,
believe it now. We had projections that this was going to be worse, but actually looking at the effect, the swine flu was worse.
I'm going to say, remember the N1 or
N1? And the swine flu was a nothing burger. I mean, like in history, I don't mean it was nothing.
SARS was worse.
I'm not trying to be dismissive of those that like lost loved ones. I'm really not. I know it probably sounds that way. It's terrible, but if you were looking at the scope of history, the sweep of history, this is a nothing, and it should be treated exactly like it is. Because I mean, it's just nothing.
Well, I was even saying this in a private chat, like a group call, and people were calling me crazy for saying this. And then it turns out I was kind of right. I said people are going to react to this so badly that you're going to get more people dying from the counter reaction than the people actually are in it. Because people are going to be like denied medical care or food services.
Well, yeah, that's actually
that.
You're not the only one. I was talking to Doug TenNapel on air when this first started, and we were both of the same mind that that's just the way it was going to go. It just there was no way around it. That's what the people were gonna call for. That's how they were going to get the head on the dashboard. So I just I'm on the chopping block. I'm mixing my metaphors. Sorry, I'm trying to color a page while I'm talking. Trying to save some time.
Yeah, it is what it is, and the whole thing was just a very handled funny. I mean, it seems like last year the whole craze over TP. Does anyone remember the stores being wiped out of everything within a week, within 4 days? It's just
that happens every time too. Like if you watch the South Park episode back in 2006 for SARS, there's even a part where everybody's panicking in the street. They're like, we're gonna die, and people like choking. It's like, dude, just have vitamins and stuff. And there's even a part where they go to the store and they load up their cart, and the guy's okay, let's see, and toilet paper and toilet paper and toilet paper.
Yep.
The exact same thing happened.
You see,
it's like nobody learns.
No, you're right, man. You see, Star Storyteller here said in Eastern Washington, the Latino population didn't even put masks on. You know?
Yeah, most of them don't hear either.
You know, and the nothing where there's nothing, and they don't report about that. Saying, hey, this population is just fine, unaffected. Yeah, no, I had actually. It's funny. My coworkers. So I've had a few coworkers have it, and the people I've known that have had it have been very either unhealthy lifestyle, like alcoholic, or very obese. The only ones two that had issues with it at all, and they were in and out of the hospital within 2 weeks. And
I probably had it and didn't even know. I said I probably had it, didn't even know.
Well, yeah,
and
I'm talking about like the ones that actually came to fruition. And
I thought I just had like a normal walking pneumonia,
right?
And it didn't fit what they thought the symptoms were at the time. Yeah, it was like it's like I got pneumonia, but it's not stopping me from doing anything. I was still working out in the room and stuff like that.
You get water in your lungs. It's normal,
Yeah, it happens all the time, and
probably a sign you need more sleep in your life, Metal.
Actually, I had even trouble sleeping when I had it because of the breathing and stuff like that. But other than that, like life was fine. I don't get much sleep anyway. That's like I'm still working out. Normally, when I get sick, I actually just burn through whatever I have by working out even harder, and I'll sweat it out. And it didn't fit the symptoms at the time. But then as more and more come out, it's like, oh man, I actually probably had it.
Well, that's what a lot of people were saying because I know I had a coworker that was very sick. In like December and then January. And people always had some funny sicknesses around that time period. But I actually had a coworker that was diagnosed, Latino lady and her family, and they were put under quarantine. And it was first her daughter and then her, and nothing. No symptoms, nothing. But they were diagnosed with having it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, at that point, I actually had said, look, I was getting sick of it. This is back in I think probably May. Yeah.
Well, and the crazy thing about all of this is it just really seems like something that had come right out of one of Chris's stories.
My bad. It was an accident.
It was an accident.
It's an accident. I didn't mean to inspire.
Wow, I'm going to put him out. I'm voting for you, man.
By chance.
So, yeah. For those of you who don't know,
I predicted Trump in that comic book. I even said he was going to go for it. I had written in the story that there's a millionaire president and all this stuff. There it was.
You got a lot to blame you for, I think, Chris. A lot to blame you for.
A lot to blame you for. That's funny. So, for those of you who don't know, Chris does a zombie comedy comic. Most of the first chapters online right now. It's called Z Bites. And I don't have the URL to put up here right now.
Oh, for shame.
Well, but if Chris wants to put it in the private chat, I'll slap it up here. If you can figure that out.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I think I'm putting it on that everybody can see.
Well, that'd be fine too if it lets you.
I'm not sure. Typing something right now. It's where Metal.
There it is.
There we go. And I have the power of the mod, so I can put this here for people to click on. And
I better make sure it's right before I.
Too late. It's already up.
Too late. It's there. No, that's right.
There you go. It's hilarious. His first issue debuted at High Plains Minicon a couple years ago, or the first edition of the first issue. I think you've gone back to press with some more stuff in that first story, didn't you?
Yeah, there's about half the print that's not available online.
Yeah, yep.
Kind of just some concept art and another little side story and stuff that's in there.
Cool.
Okay.
And Chris actually, I believe, has an announcement to make.
You're pregnant.
How'd you know? You always ruin the good surprises.
Just don't do like a gender reveal party that ends up burning down half a state.
That sounds just like California.
Is that what happened to California this time?
Yeah. It's actually the third time that a wildfire was started by a gender reveal party.
Wow. See, I just assumed it was because, California is horribly mismanaged and refuses to allow the public to manage their own land. But
Well, that's partially true, but it's also that there's a lot of really dumb rich people that live there that like to do stupid things.
those things are often hand in hand.
Yeah, usually.
But anyway, Chris, showing the cover of the
Showing
comic.
the
Is that
love
from
is
the webcomic version?
Yeah, that's from the website.
And you're working on the second issue right now, right?
Yeah, my artist is working on it.
With the new artist.
Hmm.
Have you seen pages from that yet?
I've seen a couple, and I've seen the cover coming.
Look pretty good.
Yeah.
That's the gal, right?
Yes, the one that was down there.
I do not remember her name.
Shanti.
Shanti.
A lot of energy. Cool.
Yeah. Her fellow. I'm not sure what the nature of their relationship is, but they're attached somehow. And I don't want to presume. It's the year 2020.
We don't know
And
what's going on.
anyway, and he works at the Game Time where I buy my comics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm trying to get a hold of Chris. That reminds me. I need to get a hold of Chris and see if he can get a hold of Greg Harms to see if we can get some of those Kickstarter comics in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
Not all rich people.
yes, that is true. Not all rich people. Not all rich.
True.
Yeah.
Let's
That was
not hate
being.
on them just because they're rich. Let's hate
No,
on
a lot of rich people were intelligent. It's usually their children that grew up with the money that's the problem.
That's very true. I think it was Rockefeller who actually gave each of his kids like a nest egg. It was like a startup money, and then gave everything else away.
Well, look at Buffett.
Yeah, I'd rather not. Let's not talk about that guy.
But it's a smart thing to do because statistically, within 3 generations, wealth just burns itself through.
Yep.
Yeah, especially these days because it's really easy to lose money. Back before the Industrial Revolution, it was a lot harder to get rid of that much money.
Oh yeah, because cocaine was so cheap back then. You can get it over the counter.
Well, I think it's both.
Counter.
They hadn't discovered the new world yet and didn't know about cocaine.
We don't know that. They just didn't write about it.
Opium was pretty cheap too.
I didn't know.
That they knew about even longer.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
The
The
LD
entire wars fought over that.
Oh yeah, still are.
Still are.
It's still happening.
Oh my goodness sakes. Anyway, we stepped all over Chris earlier.
Yeah.
Woo!
I mean, might be into it.
Yeah. What's up, Chris?
Isn't that kind of a show medal?
I mean, it can be. Sorry, I'm sorry. Chris just walks out. He throws it down. Good
Like,
timing.
that's it. I'm done.
Like, I'm done with you.
That thing I said, forget about it.
I don't know if I want to be part of this anymore.
You're not gonna subjugate me. I mean,
So yeah, the announcement. I think Z-Byte's going to be joining the Ideal family.
woo!
Yes.
It's cool.
That's cool, Chris. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I always have to work with you.
But no, it's good. Now I can kill the zombies.
That's true. That's true. And we actually were talking about
All my zombies are from.
about looking at where Z-Bytes can fit into the Ideal history a little, and we're going to be doing some more work on that. So I'm actually really excited to take.
Yeah, serious question about that.
Yes.
Did Z-Bytes start at Whoopty Booger?
No.
No. there was a secret lab and a scientist, and
It was in China.
I thought it was in Burbank.
China, Burbank, same thing.
At least it will be soon.
Boom-sh.
I read a comic about that too, but it wasn't ours. The Wicked Righteous that used to be published by Alterna is it's a plague, post-apocalyptic plague story, and one of the things that precedes the plague that wipes out all the adults is there's a plague that wipes out all the adults except the criminals. They're the only ones that live.
This is a
all
very
the good-
specific plague.
all the good people are wiped out, except the children and the adults and the wicked adults.
We would be half okay here because Chris is just a good guy. Chris, I'm sorry, but you're not surviving this. Me and Matt are questionable. You know,
I'm definitely a criminal.
That up in
yeah.
I'm not even gonna try to fight against it.
Like the
My
metal,
favorite crime is trespassing.
Well, trespassing is the kind of crime where if you don't get caught, I'm not sure it counts.
Well, technically, no crime counts if you don't get caught.
Bam.
I think I don't know that that's true. If you kill somebody, you might get away with it, but it's definitely a crime.
Yeah, but as far as anybody else knows, it's an act of God.
Wow. I think there's pretty good ways of telling.
God wanted me to smite this person.
Well,
not that hard.
It's like this guy just walked into some piano wire. I don't understand it.
This dude just walked into
He
a
tripped and fell on my
180
piano
miles per
wire,
hour.
okay?
Just like a constant walking pneumonia.
Oh man, yeah. So, Star says, so what is this stream about? So, we don't have a theme
We're sorry.
on the IC Jam. We just get together to shoot the crap and talk about comic projects.
It is completely about, it's strictly to the minute and the letter about comics, nothing else.
And movies. And hey, I mentioned this last week, but we didn't really talk about it much. Did you guys see any of the details on the grim and edgy grown-up Powerpuff Girls?
No, I didn't look into it afterwards.
Hey, I got you, Reese.
So the thing is they're taking the Powerpuff Girls, they're aging them up to be 20-somethings, and they're doing this, My So-Called Life Edge Fest, kind of the boys kind of thing with the girls.
Because the only way this is okay is if 90% of the show is Mojo Jojo.
Oh my gosh.
I would watch that though.
I would
too.
Yeah.
I want to watch Mojo Jojo show.
If they have a heavy amount of Mojo Jojo and it's like everything's funny except the girls who play it straight, that might be okay. If it's like the Tick.
Oh yeah, but see, they can't get away with this, and they're going to run into this problem anyway in today's culture when him finally shows up.
Satan Claus.
Yeah,
Coming
very flamboyantly gay Satan Claus.
We don't know who's gay.
Him might be like
May just be
he can be metro.
Anyway, I don't even know what that means. I'm not even gonna pretend. I don't understand all of that. It's like
do.
Here's a side note on all of that, and hopefully this doesn't do bad things for the channel, but I'm going to do it anyway.
God, everyone mute him. I'm sorry.
The whole idea of like the many genders, I don't understand it because I fail to understand what they define a gender as.
Oh, it's just a personality these days.
Yeah, okay. See,
that's all it is.
That like, why invent a new word? Why try to classify yourself? Why not just be an individual that is you're you, and you don't have to live by its definition. You're just you.
I got the answer because it's communist propaganda.
Oh.
It literally is. I mean, it falls right into the breakdown of subversion that Yuri was talking about back in the day.
Yeah,
right. But you do you want that's the what it is, the way it's done. The reason that's the vehicle for it is what America has become is a very me-centric. I need to express myself. Where do I belong? Me.
Well, and except without the self-confidence of just being like
right. No, I know. It's very much the victim mentality. Where do I belong? How do I? And it's a very inwards thinking process, right? These people aren't thinking about anybody else. They're thinking about themselves and how do they, feel better.
Yeah.
And the whole, if you look at history or books or reading or anything like that, it will help you understand that.
Well, and I think that's part of why like you've had the devolution of the hero archetypes in fiction, right?
Yeah.
Where you have people that like feel like I think they've been made to feel disempowered, where they can never be the hero of the story. So then even the idea that there is a hero is somehow uncomfortable to them.
Right.
And they either want to make everyone a villain or take all of the stakes away.
Well, it's like that unification of America nowadays with the villain more hero, because people don't want to have to look at themselves and think, huh?
Right. Well, and like one of Alan Moore, Garth Ennis, a lot of those Warren Ellis, a lot of those British authors, those postmodernish British authors, they tell villain stories more than hero stories, right? And that's part of that. But then the other side of it is you have like the Incredible Squirrel Girl, right? Which dresses it's a comic with no stakes that dresses up like a superhero comic.
It's cosplay.
What? It's cosplay. It's cosplay. It's cosplay the book. You're right. There's no real stakes, and that's one of the things that it wants the spirit of heroism.
We have no problem with cosplay.
Yeah. Well, I have no problem.
Not in its context, but you don't want to replace cosplay with the real thing, right?
No, yeah, it's
like The Princess Bride is wonderful, right? I love the story of The Princess Bride, but I would rather have a real romance than something that pretended to be The Princess Bride.
Right.
Yeah. You don't want. And
that's one thing I love about this is weird, but I like being old because I've lived through real stuff. It's not just the fantasies of what I thought it was going to be when I was 20, right?
Right.
I'm 42. I've been through the crap. We're still together. I know it's the real thing.
Well, so here's my problem with Squirrel Girl. It's not that it's like cosplaying a hero story, because there is room for that if done well. That's the first problem, is it's not written well at all. And two, it's not the only thing doing that right now.
Right.
There's other things that are not outwardly expressing that they're cosplaying a superhero story, but a bunch of the other ones are doing it. So now you just have this person or this comic that almost satirically is the other things with it, but in your face about it. Like there's no real difference between it and its contemporaries.
No.
So
right.
I have an example. Hang on a second. I had to jump across my room here. I picked this up the other day out of a whim, right? This is The Bad Guys by Scholastic. Have you guys looked at this at all?
Yeah, it's great. My niece loves it.
Oh man, it's so good. And it is like a kind of a hodgepodge of a storybook and sequential art, right? And it is the storybook villains. It's Jaws, and it's the Tyrannosaur, and it's the big bad wolf. And they've decided that they're sick of being hated, so they're going to try to learn to be heroes.
So have you ever seen Wreck-It Ralph?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of right there.
Yeah. But it's like, but it's like they're driven to it. It's not like in Wreck-It Ralph, there's like an event that causes this change that gives him a new perspective. And he's got kind of his own magic princess thing, archetype, the fairy princess thingy going. Even though it's not a romantic, it's still, that's the story type. With this one, it's just one of those things where it's like, come on, guys, wouldn't it be nice to not be feared? And the other Mr. Wolf says that, and then the other monsters are like, I don't like being feared by people, but maybe you have something going on there. And so it's fun, it's tongue in cheek, it's written for a young audience, and it's neat. I think it's a really, really fun thing. So I think that like the idea of like subverting expectations can be done really, really well, and in a way that doesn't really take away from other stories. But at the same time, like, it's still done kind of sometimes really poorly.
Yeah. It was like, because the one you just brought up, that definitely sounds like a good subversion of the hero story, while Wreck-It Ralph, when you boil it down, is still just the hero's story, the hero's journey and everything.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and part of it is part of the reason that Wreck-It Ralph is just a hero's journey is that there aren't any opposing, like, there's not the same levels of motivations for it. Like, he's never wanted to be the bad guy. It's Jessica Rabbit. I'm not bad. I'm just drawn that way.
Yeah.
only somehow less appealing.
Well, to most people, I'm sure there's somebody. I mean, those big hands.
They like
I was waiting for the follow up. I was like, what should I say? Metal beat me to it. Well done.
Good night, kids.
And on that note.
Oh man, oh man, oh man.
Anyway, where are we going?
Yeah.
This is what happens when you invite me on your show.
Yes, that happens sometimes. So, at the Ideal Comics booth in at the Minicon, there in 5 weeks, we are going to have the Joe Jobs issue. It's not an issue 1, but the that story we're going to have there. We're going to have mini comics of the. Actually, hang on a second. I'm gonna bring something up and look at it. Give me just a second, here, guys.
No.
one.
Talk amongst yourselves. Come on. Do something fun.
I don't want to
What
talk
do you guys think Reese is doing? It's taking a while.
I don't know. Maybe he's stalling. That might be the real thing. Like he actually already has it up, but he's trying to build up anticipation.
Yeah, I think he's ordering like pizza or something with French fries because French fries.
Yeah, I'm sure that's it. That's hilarious.
You're gonna open the wrong folder to share.
I'm probably.
Whoops.
That doesn't belong there.
Virus. I'm trying to order a comic book too that only gets delivered that what are they called? There's comics that are ran by an indie couple and their own company, but they only deliver to Walmart. And apparently our
Is
carry
that
it.
those ones that has some of the Norse kind of mythology stuff in
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
I just seen
And,
those the other day. I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
Is that the one with the chicken book in it?
Yep. The
Oh,
red picture.
Allegiance. You're talking about the bright lights.
Allegiance, that's the one.
That's the one, yeah. And so I'm trying to get the what's his name?
I got one issue.
U.S. Marshal one.
Oh, Bass Reeves.
That's
Yeah, that's right.
That
That's
was the one book that I was kind of interested in, but yeah, I don't know if I want to talk about that.
I should have picked that one up because I only picked up a single issue.
Uh-huh.
And instead, freaking Todd Mulrooney tells me to pick up Futurist, which, I mean, the art was good, but it just so much reading. Paragraphs of text in there. It's like,
Oh, it's very heavy. Yeah, I got you.
yeah. And I don't mind stories like that at all. It's just like you really got to sink me into it within the first couple pages.
Well, yeah. It has to carry you, right? Like it shouldn't feel like work. If this is wordy for wordiness to tell a story, that's no good. It has to.
Well, I mean, also it's one of those things where, like, if you're really reading a wordy comic, you shouldn't notice that it's a wordy comic.
Right.
Yeah.
That's one of my takes
Sink
on
into
it.
the story.
Is you should be so enwrapped in it that you don't even notice.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I'm not a big fan of decompressed storytelling. I don't like comics that use too many pages. But one of my favorite graphic novelists is Doug TenNapel. And like his style is just like decompressed. I mean, like he gets, no more than 6 panels on a page, and it's super a lot of action. And you're flip. You can read a 100-page book in an hour, right?
Yeah.
And if there wasn't so much fun packed into those 100 pages, I'd feel cheated, right? But dadgum.
Well, that's kind of like why I like reading manga, because manga is designed to be read fast, so it's a very decompressed. You go across the pages and stuff like that. I don't know. Sometimes you get really wordy manga, but it's not very often.
Yeah.
But they're also usually fun. You higher level of quality on average with manga than you get out of a lot of the mainstream market here these days.
Well, and then if you get somebody who's got really good dialogue that sucks you in, and you don't even notice that you've been on a page for 20 minutes, that's a bit excessive, but you know what I mean. I can't.
Yeah, but that's if you can get it.
I can't stand putting down $5 and getting done with a comic in 10 minutes. That just drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so some of the things we're going to have in the Minicon, we're going to have print versions of all of these books here. The 7 Quests of the Savage Norseman. We had that last year. Expositioner Chasing a Whisper. We had that one too. One of our new ones here is Mark Question, Lord of the Shoes. I hope to have the print color version of Rapunzel Wrong Train. That's the black and white version that's there. That is up there, and we're also going to be having the colored version of Joe Jobs, and that's that. Those will all be available at the IC table. So that's coming up. I'm excited for it.
Sweet.
I also found out, I have not built it yet, but I've started doing the research on getting a web store on the domain. So I'm stoked about that. And I'll have some more announcements about some new products in the next couple weeks. I'm stoked about. So yeah, so we're preparing to take your money, world. just send it on over. Also, one of the things we will be doing on the web store when we launch, we are only doing digital distribution right now, just because of some space issues and stuff. But all of the mini comics we have here, we're going to have up there. They'll be probably 50 cents a piece for the digital mini comics, and those will be available for sale when we get going on that. So, yeah, I'm pretty stoked about those too. So 50 cents for 8 to 20 to 16 pages, depending on the story. So yeah. But yeah, those are some of the things that I've been working on in the background. And Barry's just gone, man. He just took off.
Yeah, he did.
Chris, are you gonna? You of course are welcome a spot at our table. We're gonna get a big one. So, are you gonna have some stuff you can sell there if you want?
I'm hoping that I'll have I'll get some more prints made and stuff for the first issue. And my artist assured me something will be available in October. I don't know what her plan is. I gotta get with her and figure it out.
Well, if you have enough, and I'll just let you know, if you have enough to do like a mini comic preview, if you want, we can get them printed that are just, and that are just like like mini comics like we've done, that are pretty cheap. So
kind of like a little ash can.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. I've already
we got a couple other.
I've sold all 3 prints. My first one.
So, yeah, I mean, man, people love that Z-Bites. So,
yeah.
And
I carried the ups in Cheyenne for a while, but I think they don't have any more either. So.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so that's the ticket there. And I know that the other thing, my buddy Matt Johnson, who is out in Omaha, does the webcomic Out at 5, and he's been on my Thursday show every once and again. He is talking about sending along some of his. He's got a Dead Tree edition of one of his stories, and he was thinking about sending some of those along too. It's called Stay Hungry, and he had it done up. So he's talking about it. I'm not sure if
I'm always hungry.
He can't make it himself because his day job is like gets weird in October, and he has like no free time. So from like the first weekend in October until like November, like that's just there's just no way to get out of Omaha. It's also kind of a horrible drive here.
My in-laws just made that drive this week.
Yeah, I mean, I like my state, but driving across it, not the funnest thing in the world. It's 6 hours of just, especially if you're on the interstate, it's just 6 hours of this.
There's a little bump every once in a while.
Every once in a while. And it may or may not be a deer,
Yeah.
If you stay on 30, it's gorgeous, but it takes an extra hour.
That's hard to do with 3 children.
Yes, it is. So.
I have waited a very bad joke right there. But...
Do it.
Okay.
Well, if it was California, it might be a protest. Or just the West Coast. I don't know.
They did have quite a bit of to do down in Omaha and Lincoln when this thing first started back in May or whatever. There was a.
Well, I take it back. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean it was quite a thing. There was some people that broke into a bar.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I think it was in Omaha.
That was the one the owner shot the person.
Well, yeah, because he went out into the street to kind of chase people away, and he got like swarmed.
Yeah.
By these guys, and
Look,
one of them.
Look, I don't want to hear your propaganda about people defending their property. Okay.
I'm just saying. One of the guys that swarmed this dude and tried to take the shotgun away. Well, he failed.
He didn't win.
The shotgun did not, though. It worked. There was
It
no
did what it was supposed to.
fire.
Yeah, and this was after.
I know. And like the thing is, like someone lost their life. It sucks.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I wouldn't want somebody I love doing that. I wouldn't want somebody I love going and breaking into bars, breaking into stores, or any of that stuff. I'm sorry. That's my opinion. I don't want them putting themselves in that position.
And the thing is, I have zero problems with protest.
Yeah.
Right? But the minute you start wrecking property, you're not protesting anymore.
Rioting is not protesting.
It's just like, and it's not even that you don't necessarily even want to say, "Hey, Matt C's here."
Hey, how you doing, guys?
How we doing?
Hey.
I don't see
Thanks for the link.
Yeah, man. Sure. We're talking about violent protest.
I just took us down another
Because it's hard not to these days.
yeah, another bad.
We covered both of the topics you can't avoid.
Yeah.
We're just making the trifecta.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So
As you
did
do.
say sports?
Right. Anyway,
Barry, did you say that you can't avoid talking about sports? Because I think we can.
I don't know.
well, yes, we will, because right now my level with sports is at the. Oh, hey, look at that! A banana. Moving on.
Yeah, I haven't watched a ball game in a long time.
I can't say that. I did a fantasy draft and everything just recently.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry, but there's a lot of stuff that I'm over with sports, and I'm a diehard football fan. I'm not like just a diehard fan of like one team. Like I scout college football. Like it's one of my pastimes. Is like I will put in hours of watching one person. I break down. It's a hobby of mine, and I love football.
I need to get with you on my drafts then. If you
yeah, a couple of my friends have always tried to get me to help them out on their drafts and so that, and I'm like, I've actually been done with like the drafting stuff for a while, but sports, I'm gonna catch a game here or there, but this year I'm just kind of like, yeah. All right, Reese, you need to stop that. I'm getting dizzy.
Hey,
It's amazing how that happens.
I just found out I can do that. It's sort of empowering.
He's found a new toy, bro.
Well, this one I agree with because with the borders on the side, that actually kind of balances it out.
Yeah. This is the best. This is the best one.
I like this the best.
This is the best one. Well, it's because Chris, your profile is weird with the shape of your camera.
He's on camera.
And I don't want to be a jerk. Oh, that's.
Oh, now you ruined it.
Was in portrait the whole time, and you finally got him going.
Matt was being artistic about this, and Chris has to go.
Fine.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. Back to the artistic.
There we go. It's almost like a Wonder Woman logo.
Yeah, there's like a W going on there.
Is anybody going to see the Wonder Woman 84?
Oh, not at all.
I do.
Well, now I feel like
go
a
see.
schmuck. I was like, yeah. Sorry.
I want to see Tenet, but
I've heard like good things about Tenet.
yeah. The only
Not-
bad things I've heard are things where I think people they're upset that it's not the movie that they came in thinking they were going to see. But I don't know if that's a bad. I don't think that's a way to critique a movie.
I don't
It's
even
kinda
know what it's about. I just know that it's Nolan.
Yeah. Apparently, some people don't know after they get out what it's about.
So it's a Christopher Nolan picture.
Exactly.
It is a full-blown Christopher. I haven't even heard about it.
I've got an acquaintance, a friend, whatever you want to call it, who works at the Walmart, and every time I'm in there, we end up chatting about movies or pop culture. And his name's Alex, and he said, yeah, it's really good. He said, and everybody yet you hear grousing about it are exactly the same people that went to see the Inception in the theater and were like, that's a stupid movie. It's not about anything. And then saw it on DVD and it's like, it's amazing. I can't believe no one talks about how awesome this movie is.
Yeah, everybody does.
Nobody except everybody.
Yeah.
I'm
kind of lukewarm on Inception.
I was like, I kept thinking, like, Alex, who are these people that you know?
Yeah, I like Inception.
I've never met anyone like this.
Who do you talk
I
to?
think it was there were some things there about it, but yeah, it was fun. It was a good movie for the most part.
Well, a lot of people critique Inception. I guess it sounds like for the same reason they're critiquing Tenet, that they feel like it's kind of emotionally cold. But I don't know. I've always found like his movies, there's a lot of intense emotional, empathetic moments in all of his movies. I think they're just not there's not a lot of fiery passion or something.
Yeah, there's not a lot.
Is it his British stoicism?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'd
Well,
say so.
and maybe that's like, I'm kind of a I don't want to say a wreck, but I'm a very emotional person, right?
Yes, you are.
But
Oh, yeah.
I also grew up amongst like this stoic, frontier stock, right?
Yeah.
Of people that like, they have the arid winds of the plains wrote the lines on their face. You know what I mean? So I understand that really well, even though like, I just holler and shout and look for whiskey, that's my emotional style. But
yeah, no, Nolan's films, they always carry a very, very heavy, and it's done subtly, I guess, but there's a lot of emotion and love and caring even.
it's
Mhm.
somber.
Yes,
Yeah.
very, very somber
Yeah.
often, but it's very deep and touching in a lot of his films.
Yeah.
And
That
very
was-
happy.
And I actually think that like the complexity of the emotion he displays actually hides, because I don't think they're cold. I just think that they're I don't want to say overwrought, but like, because it's not the ones I've seen of his, they're very heavily weighted, but it's not burdensome to it.
No, yeah.
But I think some of the complexity of that actually hides some of his plot holes.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
well, when you take on, like, I think when you just take on these, you want to have fun and try to make the movie fun. Also, at the same time, I don't know if I'm making excuses for Nolan, but I think you're going to have plot holes often. It's going to happen. Especially
It's a visual medium, it's like a play.
Yeah.
I think you can do plot holes in film in a way that you can't maybe in other narrative media. If it feels
Outside of maybe
right,
theater. Because theater, like actual plays and stuff, have a lot of plot holes in them. But a lot of times when you see a plot hole in a play, you laugh at it. Like it's
Right.
there because it's funny.
right.
Yeah.
And
Or
that's-
it drives the emotion of the scene or whatever.
Right.
Or even it's utterly supposed to be there. Like that's half
Yeah.
of Twelfth Night,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like that is like that play is suspension of disbelief, I love 12th Night.
Yeah, no, and I'm not being forgiving for it. Like I'll complain like I did about Inception in different ways, and even Interstellar in different ways. But
Yeah.
I really liked Inception. I really loved Interstellar
I'm not forgiving when it comes to Nolan at all.
with Nolan.
Yeah.
Oh, Matt
I
gave you-
barely like his
he
films.
moved
if
you
that.
above Matt D. it's apparently when you have the floor or you have the points, you are getting. I'm going down very soon. I will say that much.
That's what I ought to do. I ought to just mark like get a little score sheet, and then everybody can be like, Who won tonight's show?
I'm sorry for even
Who's
saying
Who's
that.
in this spot?
I apologize horribly.
Whoever's here the longest is the winner. We send out no prizes. No, I don't have that much patience. So that's entirely too much math for me. I don't do that kind of thing recreationally.
Right.
Matt, what do you got? What are you working on tonight, man?
I'm coloring a page, and I'm reviewing another page that someone else drew for me, and hopefully approving it. Trying to stay busy for 2021.
Oh man,
Big plans.
Yeah.
As long as the sun keeps rising, we'll have cool stuff coming next year.
Well, yeah. I mean, in fairness, how much of your stuff is photon based? Because, I mean, realistically, you could keep making comics even just under artificial light, right?
Yeah. Well said. Yeah, unless I'm in California, where apparently the lights turn off when the sun doesn't shine. So
Yep, I would
That's
say
so crazy. I can't believe that. I was doing a little reading into that.
we're just gonna keep ripping on California all night long.
It's like the craziest thing. It's like they were inhibited. The power companies were inhibited from doing maintenance on the power system because there were environmental measures and because they were being given extra money to try to reinvent the solar system, not the solar power system, not the actual solar system. So instead of installing,
No, they'd probably try.
Well, that's true. But they have tried to reinvent the entire universe, but that's not what I mean.
Well, they'll try to sell you that they were successful.
But yeah, instead of doing what New Mexico and Arizona did and replacing their grid with a smart grid 10 years ago, and my boss's brother was on the team that designed the smart grid for Arizona so that they could maximize their different kinds of power output. But yeah, instead of doing that, they're just do solar panels kill owls? Let's find out. Oh, we couldn't fix that transformer. An eagle lives there now.
See, I think that's 2 in 1. We get to fix the transformer and we get lunch.
In California's defense, California versus one eagle, I might just strictly bet on the eagle.
Especially if you're getting to a whole herd of eagles.
It's a herd of eagles.
I don't. What is the? There's. I mean, they don't travel in
No, they're lone creatures.
But they occasionally gather in groups during mating seasons and times a year, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
What do you call a herd?
Well, they're birds, so I guess you'd say a flock.
Flock?
Yeah, so.
Yeah. Technically, all groups of animals are herds, and any other word that we put onto it is just for our own convenience.
Right.
I was thinking there's a gaggle of geese.
Gaggle of geese, a murder of ravens.
Okay, I'm out of this conversation.
But a pride of eagles. That sounds nice.
I
like the pride of lions. Yeah.
I do like the idea of a pride of eagles. It my American
nice enough.
American senses aren't.
Yes,
Or you go even further with America, and you just have a word that doesn't fit and actually doesn't even work in its position, but it still makes you feel good, like a humble of eagles.
Like a hubble of eagles?
A humble. Like you're feeling really humble about how amazing this creature is, and that it's better than every other creature that you've ever seen.
Kick-ass of eagles.
Yeah, kick-ass. I like that one. Yeah.
Graceful of eagles.
Yeah, well, they do it with crows, so we can do
a glory of eagles.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
I like that.
Really
I like that.
Yeah.
Might have to put him on top. Keep him on top because that's
back up to the top.
I think that's the winning comment right there.
Just because the glory.
The glory of eagles.
No.
Tell you what, there are not enough people watching this show. This is some good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
We just solved California.
We're probably competing with Tyler having Brian Ball on or something awesome like that. Who knows?
Yeah. Did that stream wrap up well? That was a pretty good one.
Oh yeah, it was. I ended up talking to Trent for an hour afterwards.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. He's like, well, I mean, about a 7.5 hour drive from here. So 7 hour, 7.5, 8.5, something like that.
I always feel bad for Trent because I think he comes in hot with Brian, and Brian has, I don't know, he has so much gas in his tank that I think Trent just kind of peters out about halfway through most of his co-interviews, and Brian's just, he's still, pedal to the metal, like an hour 4.
I don't know if you guys know, we're talking about Brian Ball and Trent Luther, who are the writers of Rags.
Oh, okay.
The zombie. And
yeah, you introduced me to that.
yeah. And I had them on the show last week. They just wrapped the 7th issue of it's the first volume. They're calling it season 1. But it's the first story arc, and it's pretty damn good. I'll tell you what, it's so
they're going past the first story arc.
Yeah.
Because they originally said it was going to be a limited run.
Yeah, I think that the cat's out of the bag enough that I can let people know that it was always going to be more than 7 issues.
Yeah.
Breaking news on Ideal Comics stream tonight.
Well, he's mentioned at other places that it is going farther, but it was.
He's just in denial this whole time.
I think
like, we're not going to keep doing this. We're not going to keep doing this. Okay, we're going to keep doing it.
And there was some question about like distribution and what if they were going to keep going into shops and that kind of thing, or if they were just going to do Patreon and
really
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Is it worth it to keep up with that sort of stuff?
And that's part of what they're planning on doing. And he mentioned this on the stream last week, is that they're rather than try to go month to month, they're going to get the next volume, the next story arc done, all of it, and that'll go just to patrons, and then they'll give all of the issues to Antarctic to print the bunny versions. So
okay, because that was the one thing that it sounded like was really stressing them out, was keeping up with the demand.
Yep. And so rather than try to keep up with a monthly schedule, they'll just go on hiatus until they've got enough done that they can just say, "Hey, Antarctic, here's 8 through 12 or whatever it is, 8 through 18, whatever it's going to be." So,
dig that.
Yeah. The other thing you mentioned is that like Volume 7, the Antarctic version that I like to get, so I get 90% less Wang in my comic, and everything else. That is 30 pages short of what the actual 7 will be for the patrons. So I'm like,
sad.
That's 30 pages more. Damn it, Brian. But yeah, they're crackerjack guests. They make me glad I have my show as a for mature audiences tag on it.
Oh yeah.
It gives me the freedom of not worrying about if I drop an F-bomb on stream, but also if my guests decide to go blue suddenly, I don't have to freak out about it. It's just like I've had times where just like people just start tearing a streak, and I'm just like, is it okay to say this on it? And it's like, well, it's a little late now. But yes,
it's been said.
Can you go back and edit that out when we go live? No.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go back and just take that 10 minutes out of the show altogether. We'll just memory hole that. I don't even have the energy to bother doing that. That's not worth my time. So I'll just put the the MA rating on the whole channel and call it good.
So what else? What else does everyone else work on? I know Barry. How about the Metal and Chris Lore? Like what sort of projects do you guys have going on?
Comics.
or whatever. It doesn't have to be comics.
Everything.
Yeah.
So Chris is the writer of the Z Bites webcomic, which is if you look at your screen down there, there's a link to it, and it's a zombie comedy. And he has just tonight announced that he is joining the IC stable.
Oh wow!
And so,
Nice. Congratulations.
So he's working it into our history, and we're going to be doing some powwowing about all of that, which is cool. I'm very excited. Very excited. Yeah. I actually one of the things I'm going to go ahead and let people know this. If you go back through the Forces archives to the story National Villainy, halfway through the story, we introduce a teacher from one of the other villain schools called Professor Z. And Professor Z is a zombie. And he's one of the teachers at the Valentine Academy of Lower Villainy in Valentine, Nebraska. And he was one of the creators of a zombie virus that he got exposed to, and was able to keep some of the effects at bay. So he's only mostly dead, and
which means he's still partly alive.
Yes, he's partly alive and just a little bit hungry.
Like Living Dead. It's weird.
so we're gonna. I was talking to Chris when we were talking about this, and I was like, "Dude, we could work Professor Z in here," and he's like, So
yeah.
So yeah, we're not really excited about that. And the Metal does his comic is called X Dynamos Chaos, or one of his comics, I should say.
Well, it's the brand, I guess you could say, is X Dynamos Chaos as well. That's like the universe that everything takes place in, and it's also the website name because I treat it like a digital magazine. The main web comic is of the same name as the site, and then I have a bunch of other stories on there too, both in comic form, long and short, and in kind of like prose, pulpish type form as well.
Oh, cool.
So,
yep.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, and you've also opened your universe up for contributors too, yeah?
To a degree, yeah.
That's something very cool. Yeah, something I really want to actively look into once we get our website where I want it.
Yeah, right now I only have it for contribution for art related. I do need to put up another page because I will accept under approval of editorial review prose submissions and stuff like that as well, as long as it can fit into things, because I do have a tight structure for how the flow of the world needs to work.
Yeah.
So it could be like, I'll leave your story 90% intact, but I might have to cut it here, change something here, just to make things work. Yeah.
So speaking of stuff, there's actually something that I want to share here. Give me just a second to look it up here.
Oh, cool.
It's not mine. It's somebody else's thing, but I had so much fun with it that I wanted to share it here.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
fill that dead air. We got Star Storyteller in the chat.
Is she still here?
Or she was. Wait, at 9:43. I guess that was a while ago.
Oh yeah. I think she ended up calling it a night because it got late.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I was worried it was a conversation.
I can't remember what time zone she's in. So
yeah.
Well, in the meantime, another cool thing that I do is I have an official doujinshi program set up. So if anybody's familiar with the Japanese concept of the doujinshi, is that it's kind of like a fan fiction in a way, but it allows you to actually market it. A lot of people do this in Japan all the time because copyright laws are different there. As long as like you make it known that this is not part of the world or license or anything, you actually can personally sell things at cons and stuff like that.
No kidding.
Yeah. So I have it set up. I even have like 2 little logos set up. That one of them is an actual EDK Doujinshi one. The other one says not Dynamis Chaos because it's funny to me. And if you just slap that on there, you can write any story you want at all with any character and sell it. People need to know that it's not part of the canon. That's all that I care about. So my stuff is effectively open source to a degree.
Oh, cool.
that's a fun idea.
It is.
So I was here we go. So this is my pal Matt Johnson from East Nebraska has done this comic for a long time called Out at Five. It's a he's called it an homage to, it's kind of a gag a day / slice of life comedy thing. And he's got this is a story started from a couple weeks ago. That's just hilarious. It's a little pastiche of Alex Jones in there. We've got these guys checking this out here, but this is the next strip is the thing I think is just hilarious. See here. And now for a Truth Revolt exclusive. I tell you, these techno-fascists in Silicon Valley have been trying to rig the election. Well, now they have proof of who's behind it all. Is this weirdo in a skull mask? Which is a tie back to an old comic that he did that's part of his crazy canon on here. But I'm actually... Oh, here we go. This is the one. And that's not the worst of it. Do you think where do you think they got all this rotten technology? From the interdimensional demon androids want to invade our world and enslave the human race. Which, and this guy is nuts. I know it's hilarious, right? But this is like actually going on in the background of his slice of life comic.
Nice.
It's like it's the slice of life comic with this techno fantasy just happening just below the surface.
See, I kind of want to do something like that, where you're like, because all this stuff is really happening in Next Item is Chaos. So, but most people don't know what's going on. So I'd love to just have maybe a group of people that get together over food or whatever. Like they meet up once a week to talk and eat, and on the screen there'll be news going on, and nobody ever believes anything that's ever happening, even though everything is going on for real.
Yeah, and that's sort of a subtext in our stories too. In fact, Matt and I have done some crossovers with our stuff too. So, but it's just I was catching up on his archives, and I just was like, this is hilarious. This is great stuff. So I wanted to share it out here while we're here on there. So, Matt, if you ever see this, there you go. But yeah, go read Out at Five. It's great stuff. So, I actually got a chance to meet him in person. We've met on the internet, and then a little while back ago, he ended up taking a road trip out this way, and so we were able to sit down at one of our parks and just chat for an hour or so while his kids played on the swings and stuff. It was pretty fun.
Wow,
nice.
So yeah. So if you're ever in Western Nebraska, just hit me up.
No.
I could do that.
Hey, I got a question. Are you anywhere near the Grand Tetons?
Sort
Is that another state?
Yeah, it's the other side. It's like the western. They're in western Wyoming, and they're on the far side of the Rockies. So once you get up into the Rockies and you crest the edge and you keep going, and it's still technically part of the Rockies, but there's a valley between the Tetons and the other part of the Rockies. And that's actually where my wife's family is from. My wife's mother's family is from a place called Star Valley, specifically a town called Thane up there. And it's south of Jackson Hole. And that's the Tetons are on one side and the other Rockies are on the other side. So, and it's there up into Montana and Idaho. So,
oh, cool. Because my wife and I were going to go visit that area next month.
Oh,
and then we ended up picking, and I was going to bother you about that, and then we ended up, I wasn't sure if it was the right state, and then we were going to Arizona, Nevada instead, and but that looks like it's on fire still, or close to it. So
Everything's on fire.
I don't know if that was a good idea.
Probably that's also true. It is on fire right now.
There is fire around us also, so yeah.
Well, I think Chris put most of it out last weekend, though, didn't he?
Does the fire that's close to us? Yeah, we put it out.
Yeah, there you go.
There's almost 4,000 acres.
Were you having fun digging some line there, Chris?
I did not dig line. I was on the back of a fire truck. Along the line.
Yeah, I know. You put a line down. That's kind of cheating, Well, that's awesome. Like honestly, out here, that's all there really is, right? There's this brush.
Yeah,
You can just hose it down and you're good to go.
and that took
I'll
off.
be right
quick.
back.
It's not like just acres and acres of forestry that you have to like cut a line through.
No, I did have to do that back when Crawford and Shattern went up. I went down there and fought and had
Yeah.
a beer.
Yeah, that's fun, huh?
Wow.
No.
I miss that.
Awesome.
Barry was a commercial firefighter, brush firefighter for a while,
Yeah.
and so he'll.
This rule's always looking.
I know. Dude, seriously, I've thought about it, but man, back then I was in a lot better shape and I was a lot younger.
I don't know, man. If you're out there hauling, you might get yourself back into shape, like you talk about.
True. That's true.
So you have to, or you catch fire.
I'll either die or
It's true. And they fight fire with Minotaur a lot.
what's that?
They fight fire with Minotaur a lot. So
Yeah. Turn my volume.
back.
Boy, sorry about that.
No worries, man. No worries.
Yeah, they needed help seasoning the sauce, and I don't write down any measurements, so I'm the only one who can do it right.
Ah. Are you
That's a mission.
That sounds like a.
are
code.
you much of a cook then, or is that what am I missing here?
No, I mean, I do everything. I'm a man of many talents.
Yeah, cool. No, I love cooking. Actually, it's one of my it's how I relax a lot.
Cooking is great.
It's a good way to do it.
Yeah,
Chris, I mean,
Trying to
Barry
make-
keeps talking about wanting to start a cooking show. Actually,
what's that?
I said Barry keeps talking about wanting to start a cooking
Yeah.
show.
I do.
I'll cook with you.
Well, I try to make everything as healthy as I can, right? So there's and reasonable, right? Like there's within reason, so people actually like find it palatable and appetizing and stuff. Because I don't want to go into too much of a speech, but the American diet isn't the best, like a global thing, like the whole food pyramid. It's all shit anyway. But yeah, so I spent a lot of time researching food and cooking with different things and baking with different things.
Nice.
I see some of those photos sometimes. It looks delicious.
Thank you. Yeah, that stuff. That's the delicious stuff. There are many failures.
I actually tell my wife all the time, like, man, Barry keeps making this stuff, and I kind of want to try it sometime.
Yeah, that's the trick. Is like around here, honestly. I mean, anywhere really, for the most part, there isn't much. It's convenience is how is how you ruin a good healthy diet. So, because pizza and all that amazing stuff is convenient, unfortunately, but they don't. It's not made healthily.
That's why I had hamburger patties and chicken patties tonight. It was convenient and easy.
Yep. And I'll spare you the long speech of stuff. I was actually
Thank
Saturday night. My Saturday night was watching about 5 hours of different doctors and professors talk about different foods and the effect on the human body and the fatty liver and all that stuff. So
I eat a lot of animal fat.
that's awesome. Smart.
Most of my meat's lean.
It's very good.
Yeah, it's funny. I think a lot of people have been, well, I don't know, maybe not as many people as it'd be nice to see, but a lot of people are kind of waking up a bit to, like fast and easy health versus the hard, the difficult but lasting and measurable health kind of diet approaches. And I don't know. Like
You're right on. Like I started this almost 3 years ago, thanks to a friend that my gallbladder had gone toxic actually, and I couldn't eat certain foods.
Oh no!
Mm.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I could have died a few times. It's pretty wild. But yeah, so I went keto at that point, and I still try to practice health from that aspect as much as I can. But from what I'm seeing and what I'm learning, there is a happy medium that you can find.
Sure.
Again, just in general, globally, we eat too many bad oils made from cheap products, like especially corn oils. It's in everything. you know, the food pyramid that was made back in the 80s is simply, and I could link this.
It's propaganda. It's outright propaganda.
Exactly. Nothing but money. Nothing but money. And I can provide so much stuff now, because now it's
just big corn, right? Like basically.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know, wheat
and sugar.
You know, oils.
Well, there's the lie that fat made you fat. When really it was sugar that makes you fat.
Exactly. That's the biggest thing. Like, and like, look at half of the, you know, diet in like all our sweets and so they're insane. Like half of drinks are insane. And so I go on and on about it, but it's you know, it's, I wonder how many people, like, you know, and then
it's true, he can.
well, it feeds into everything. It feeds into, you know, there's money, there's industries built on this, right? I mean, multi-billion-dollar, you know, medical field, you know, and it all links together. But anyway, let's go on to something else.
Well, I was just saying, like, I'm a lifelong martial artist, so that kind of informs what I cook in my diet and stuff like that. So I end up eating a lot of carbs, but I end up eating like a lot of easily processed carbs, like noodles and rice and stuff like that, like things I can burn through immediately. I don't, you know, try to load up on like breads and a lot of overly processed stuff.
Right, and that falls between the stuff I'm trying to research as much as I can and find out more about. But yeah, definitely, that's good. That's great. But anyway, I could go on, but maybe we could all get those. Maybe we can put that aside for maybe another stream sometime and really get into it. But yeah, it's good stuff. And people are waking up, and it's nice. And shit, I have to stop. Chris, what are you doing over there, man? Are you drawing? Matt, how's your screen? How's your coloring coming, bud?
It's coming. It's I tell you, it's tough to now I understand, like, there's so many. You hear about these comics and it's like, oh, you know, we're 50% through coloring or something. And you're like, come on, like, how long does coloring take? Really?
All day.
Yeah. And it's like, sometimes I feel like it's taken me as long for some of these panels, it's taken me as long to color as it does to
what do you guys use? Because Matt Reese knows that I'm you know, since I had the coloring duties on our project, I've become like obsessed with trying to get better and faster and more efficient.
Nice.
What program do you use, Matt?
Well, it sounds old-fashioned nowadays, but I'm using Photoshop.
No,
same.
But I'm gonna switch to I'm gonna buy Clip Studio during the Black Friday sale when it's like $5 or something.
Heck yeah, man!
I really like Clip Studio. I'm using it right now.
Yeah.
Very nice. There's a fellow I follow who's been doing this stuff for a while. Let me share his link to this most recent one. I was telling the guys on before he got on here that he's always doing coloring stuff. And I think actually the reason I found out about him, somebody shared him or told me to look him up on YouTube from either one of these streams or one of your guys' streams, one of the Thursday night streams. And his name is Kurt Russell. He used to go by Michael Kurt Russell, or K. Michael Russell, but
I think that might have been one of the dudes who was on when we were first pitching the Expositioner book back in 18.
Yeah.
I was on Needle Movers, and I think he may have been in the chat with that day.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure.
That's a good memory.
What?
That's a good memory.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what I think. Matt's right.
Cool.
Because remember, I was showing some of the art, and he's just like, "What are you using?" I was in the chat, and I was like, "I'm not the artist. I'm the writer."
Yeah, and
he's like, "Give my email address to your colorist." Okay.
So to hire him, or
no, he just wanted to pass along some information.
Yeah, share some good.
Cool. It was like one of the things was like this. He was like, the first thing he said was like, your saturation is too high, and it's gonna wrinkle the paper if you print.
It's gonna be too heavy on the print. Too heavy on the print.
I'm like, I don't even know anything about that. So
yeah, how often do you think about that? That's some pretty high level.
Yeah, no, he was on it. and that is exactly why one of our black and whites turned out very disappointing. I shared the link to Kurt M. Russell's most recent YouTube, and it's like 15 minutes, but he'll do longer streams, and we can sit on and he'll BS. The dude's good, man. And then this is just talking about color and the color wheel and this association with colors. And it was just so simple because I followed him now for 2 years, and this is one of his best ones. Just real chill, real good stuff.
I love how he, man, I got to figure this out. How he like segments out his videos by topic, so you know where to find it just by rolling your mouse.
I haven't seen that a lot these days.
Yeah, that's like a cool feature. I don't know.
Yeah, and he's working. He's been getting better and better because I went back and looked at all of his first stuff. So he's doing good stuff now. He uses Photoshop, he uses Clip Studio, and he uses his iPad and Procreate. And that's actually what gave me the idea to get a iPad and use Procreate.
So is that so Procreate? That's really that's the standard for iPad, right?
Yeah, I use Procreate and Clip Studio on the iPad, which I had to buy it again, and the license isn't quite as bad as Photoshop's, but because I already have one, I have it on my laptop right here, but they don't let you. And I even got one for Mac back when I bought it, but I didn't. They won't let you use that key at all on an iPad anyway.
Yeah, sure.
So,
what's your reason for an iPad? Because I've never owned one, and I don't know what the benefits are to using an iPad. Like, is it just like you can just kind of hang out and draw wherever? Is that the main reason you use it?
No, but that is one of them. So, the specs on the iPad are it's on par with like the top gaming consoles currently. The next gen will be better than it, of course. But I got the 12.9-inch iPad. Put it on my phone bill to hit me with it. But it saves on buying because I already have a tablet that I can draw on and hook it up to my laptop. But it saves on, so it's essentially a $1,500 laptop with the pad included. Procreate's only a $10 one-time pay fee. I can stream off this thing and share it. I can run multiple things off of this thing without it slowing down, bogging down, which I cannot do on my laptop here because this is only a $600 laptop.
Wait, sorry, you said $10 one-time fee?
Yeah, Procreate. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. So that's just a good thing right there.
That's cheaper than Photoshop.
Yes, completely. And it's getting better all the time. They're fixing things all the time, and they even apparently reach out to Kurt M. Russell and he talks to him about different things to improve on with stuff. So he used it, and I've heard multiple say it can do professional grade stuff, and Reese has seen my stuff recently. It's all been generally 99% on Procreate. So.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to be like a jerk or whatever.
Sure.
But like seriously, like the quality of Barry's colors, and I liked his palette before, but like just like the depth of the color is just exploded.
Yeah, I think that's just more his videos than what I'm using. But in conjunction, the program, the app, the tablet is nice and it works, and so.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like I don't want to change my process too much because then I'm like, at least before I'm done with done with my comic. But then at the same time, like I'm just watching, like I feel like I'm drifting into the past. Like I work on a desktop, I'm using Photoshop, I'm using brushes that I made like 5 or 6 years ago. Like I'm just kind of falling backward.
Well, if you want to demo something that's similar to Clip Studio without having to invest into it, Metabang, which is Art Street, they're partnered with Shonen Jump and stuff. I think they actually might be the same parent company. Has a free version of it called Metabang Paint,
Oh,
and
nice.
it basically works kind of the same as Clip Studio.
Well, and
it's the same type program.
Carlos, who did the story that I'm coloring right now, was telling me about that. He's like, "What are you using to color?" He's like, "Because you need to use Metabang," and I was like, "It's Clip Studio," and he's like, "Oh wait, yeah, that's really good too. I like it."
Well, there is a Clip Studio debut you should be able to find for like $5 or something like that, which
Yeah,
isn't
Metabang's completely free.
yeah, which
Yeah, my
is
artist
like,
is using that.
yeah, it's like baby Clip Studio, but it'll give you an idea. And
Yeah. They also have Jump Paint, which is a Shonen Jump specific version of it, completely free, and it comes with a bunch of like manga making tutorials and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, I bought Clip Studio, not even for the colors.
oh, and I have a bunch.
I bought it for the lettering. Because I looked at the lettering tools and like Barry had it and was showing me, and I was like, okay, this is going to change my life as far as lettering goes.
Yeah.
So, because like I was,
Well, and they have like the perspective tools and the dot gain tools.
Yes.
And you can do like the 3D model stuff in there. It's incredible.
Yeah, that's impressive. That's when I'm using that. That's when I use Clip Studio. That's why I miss Clip Studio. I haven't been using it on iPad. But
Yeah, Metabang also has like a, I don't know if it'll show, has a really nice mobile version too.
oh wow,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Look at
That's
that.
where I found it was when I was looking on my phone.
nice.
Get a little stylus going and yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They have it for tablets as well. Tablet, mobile, and for computer.
it's called Metabang.
Yeah, Medibang. I could drop it in there.
Wait, I gotta go.
You're out.
Yeah, I gotta
I thought Matt or Reese finally kicked you out. Like about time.
go. No, not yet.
All right, man. It was a good time seeing you, and thanks for coming on the stream again.
Yep.
yeah, man, for sure. And we will keep touch, as we talk more about making the dream happen, man.
Absolutely.
Taking your comics from you.
Yeah,
All right.
we're building I'm building a universe one edition at a time. You think I'm joking?
Like, yeah.
I just
The
got
early DC acquisitions.
you think I'm
That's horrible.
you guys think I'm joking, but I convinced Josh Sartelli to let me use the elf only in characters in my last story arc. It was awesome.
Yeah,
So-
you've been busy, man. Like
Those of you
that's
guys who are fans of really old web comics that haven't updated since 2008.
Yeah.
Is this something, Matt, that you've been really gunning for? Like, have you always been equally interested in taking this approach with expanding and collaborating in this
Yeah,
way?
I mean, kind of. It's been one of those things where when we first started working on it, something Chris and I talked about like a long time ago, and in 2007, there was a cat Chris met named Kevin Carpenter who was like, "Hey, your universe looks cool. Can I play?" And he pitched a bunch of characters to us, and we had some stuff in Forces that was kind of that kind of tied into that theme, and really liked it. And then after about a year and a half, he was like, "I want to take my ball and go home." And I said, "Well, I did a lot of polishing with that ball. We kind of made it our own thing." And I say, so we actually worked out a kind of a split the baby solution where we changed, certain characters' names because they were tied into some of our other mythology stuff. And he got to keep his versions and we kept our versions, and we were all very happy. And I'd love to know what happened to the dude, because like, I'd like to go back and, find him again and say thank you, but he kind of disappeared off the internet. But his characters, or our versions of his characters, ended up playing a big part in our last Forces story too.
Oh, cool.
And we had but yeah, it's been one of those things where the idea of, we built a sandbox that wasn't just for us, but I wanted to make sure that it was something that, had some substance to it before we kind of opened the doors to it. And there's been, and so I've been kind of low key talking to people about stuff and doing a little webcomic crossovers here and there. And, but in the last little while, it's been sort of like, I'm watching a bunch of other people, and no bad feelings, but, taking that ball and running with it, whether it's the Terraform guys or the Mythoverse guys. And, I'm just like, if I don't really start, trying to make my case to people and trying to show what the universe has to play with, then I'm going to left in the dust. And I'm
Oh yeah, they're just gonna come over to Extanimus Chaos instead.
Yeah, I'm 42. I've got a universe I've been building for 15 years that I can't do it alone, man. So I'm excited to look at welcome in some other properties to try to look at expanding what it is, and what it can be, and find ways of playing with other folks too, and kind of making that happen. So
That's cool.
So plus, like, apparently Scottsbluff is a good place to make comics. So
In what way?
it's not a good place to sell them. It's a good place to make them.
Now, see, I'm in a much better place to sell them. I just need to find more people around here to make them. As in DFW, comics actually sell really well there. I think there was at one point about 50 stores just in the Metroplex.
No.
Yeah, there's a lot less now, I'll tell you that. But
Yeah.
And that's actually one of those things too. Like the Terraform guys, I had them on my Thursday show a few weeks ago, and one of the company partners also owns a distribution company that is just went live, called Liberty Distribution. And I was listening to their pitch stream when they're like, "Hey, we open tomorrow," and I was looking at some of the stuff that they're offering, and it's some pretty tempting stuff. And when we get if we can get some projects put together for 2021, and I think we have some real possibility of that, if we can get some financing behind it, I would love to find out more about that and see about getting on to some distribution, because that's, like I said, we co-host a mini con with some other creators and nerds in Scottsbluff. Our little towns, our county is 30,000 people. We get about 200 kids and young adults and people to come out to our mini con every year, and we sell about $50 in stuff.
I think we actually made more than 50 last year.
I think we did. I think we made about 100 last year, but still,
what's up?
What's $100? Fortunately, spots at the minicon are free because we have a cool arrangement with the local mall where the hosts it.
So it's all
gravy. Do you take care of your own taxes? That's not my business. But yeah, so yeah, that's something that I'm interested in looking into some more and kind of work on some stuff for with that kind of thing in the future. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So I'm excited for and they've got anyway, there's stuff on the horizon. 2021 could be a very big year.
Beautiful. I think a lot of people have like over the last 4 or 5 months, like being caged up a bit more. It's really kind of sifted out maybe a lot of our laziness, and really kind of motivated a lot of people to kick things into high gear, which is cool.
Absolutely nothing's changed for me.
Yeah. Nice.
Well, and that's like, I think that's kind of the thing, right? I mean, like, I look back over this last year, and I'm going to put the button on 4 stories. The Rapunzel story that I'm working on right now. Well, maybe even 5, if you count like the mini comp. That's counting mini comics and full lengths and other things too. Or it's just been stuff that's like just been waiting in the wings to get 100% finished. That I just think that I don't know. I just kind of see that's kind of the next inevitable phase. I think that there are a lot of people that there's been we have an opportunity to latch onto something, I think, and I think it's worth doing,
Maybe.
It's
Draw
worth
fast,
$50, so that's something.
Yeah, or
worth more than $50.
Yeah. Who knows?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so that's That's it. I'm very anxious to build a universe.
Hey Reese,
So yes,
sorry, wasn't trying to cut you off, but give me some feedback. I was curious what you think about this page. Page 2 is almost all done with.
let me flip back to you here.
Yeah.
Ooh, cool. Live reaction.
Right.
Yeesh.
Live criticism.
Live criticism.
Well, hopefully it's good. Barry apparently tells me that I'm too mean sometimes. I don't know what that is all about.
Mean's the right word. I would say professionally sound on certain points, but
See, I just settle for being right.
so did Hitler.
No, he didn't.
Oh, he settled all right. But anyway, I've moved some things around. I haven't drawn the lines yet, cut things off yet, and I'm working on the last panel yet before I go to inks.
Okay. Well, I'm really glad I stopped what I was doing to look then.
A mixed review.
Maybe that's what Barry means by me being overly mean.
I'm really glad I caught you before you finished.
Well, you know, Reese being the professional at everything he does.
I'm not sure I can claim that, even jokingly.
I know.
I can claim that because it says so on my business card.
There you go. Get it.
That is true. It does say that on the business card.
But yeah, so I was going for more dynamic, a little bit more, movement in the skateboarding. But yeah,
Page 4?
is it page 4 now?
I think so.
I thought this was page. So what's page 2 now? These things have been moved around so much, dude.
Well, it's on the script, man.
You expect him to look at the script? I mean, come on, that's crazy.
This is bullshit.
Yeah,
In my defense, there's been a few rewrites.
So yeah, to explain all of this, we set about doing this Marvel style because the three of us were sat down and we're like, let's go ahead and shake it up. Let's go ahead and let everybody's creative juices flow. And I had an outline. Everyone's like, yeah, let's go run with it. And then we're talking about it and we're working it through and we're reading through the first pages and we're just like, it's taking a while to get, and it's not really got the zip that we want. So we did a bunch of rearranging to kind of relay things out. So that's been a while ago.
Yeah, there's been a lot of rewrites.
It's been like a year ago, July.
No shit.
Yes. None.
Wait, so what sort of color, what sort of consistency things typically do you have to deal with, Barry? Is it, I guess in terms of, you got to make sure it's nighttime throughout the previous like what sort of things are you dealing with where you're worried about consistency?
Oh, well, previously I actually switched from working on the laptop and working with Straight, just Clip Studio to predominantly on with Procreate, and I did.
That'll do it.
Yeah, I did Matt's. This is a promotional piece. I want you guys to tell me what you think about this one. This is all Procreate, and I've messed around with it a few times. But well, I'll just leave that alone right there. Matt, we want to go, or Reese, we want to go with the cover for that, right?
I can't remember what we're doing for the cover.
Anyway, let's go back and show. Let's see here. So this is a page that I did this is all Procreate, and it was very the colors were much more rich. They were more spot on. They were just better, and just more of a scene that we're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I don't know, the other ones were just a little more bland and everything. And so I was gonna go back through and start recoloring them, but now I have to go back through and Oh, I have to go back through and do them all. So we're doing that.
Yeah.
This is
Well, here's a hint of advice that I learned when I started coloring digitally and realized that the old laptop had a horrible screen for picking up colors. Was I went out and I just learned my Pantones, right, and just got all like the color that I liked in actual paint in real life, and then found the Pantone code for it, and then just like memorized the ones that I liked.
That's
And if you do that, then you stay consistent across devices.
yeah, that's real good idea.
Dig it.
It's a good idea. Yeah, one of the biggest ones that one of the biggest advices I was told was just the way the colors will come out. You know, they'll be off, right? Your darks will be too dark, and et cetera, et cetera. So put your screen, lighting down quite a bit when you're working like on a digital screen, of course. So I will often put mine to at least nothing above 60%.
Yeah.
This is like 30%, I think, right now I'm working with.
Yeah, I'll double check on my phone because it turns out that checking at least to the digital printer that I use, at about 50%, it looks almost exactly the same as the page. So it's a good way to like, I need to go back and fix it.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Yeah, this one I have multiple different screens off of this one.
So I just got I'm ordering a couple issues of I just threw together all the pages I've made so far for book 3 of Kyrie.
Yeah.
And I slapped a cover on it, and I'm ordering a couple copies from Kablam just to see what that's about.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's what I use.
Yeah. Apparently this is the thing. Everyone's using it.
Yeah, and if you just get a proof copy, then you can sell it on their print on demand site if you planned it.
Yeah. Which that's probably the next thing to look into too. Do you get good rates with that, or well, that's probably a whole other thing. Like, who knows?
We went with them for our first printing.
Yeah.
Or the first 2 printings of our anthology, of our first anthology. But then when it came time to print our second one, we went with Comics Wellsprings through Greco Printing, and I have been very pleased with the service we've gotten from them. And it's not like, and I think the quality is virtually identical between them, but they're closer. And at the time they weren't as busy, so we could always get our stuff really fast.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't tried getting a printing from them in a couple of years because we haven't managed to sell through all of our back stock. And that's okay.
And I've heard they've become a lot more popular since then.
Oh yes, they have. But
yeah, the quality of Kablam's they're pretty good.
Yeah, when we left Kablam, it wasn't a quality issue. There was a slight price difference, but mostly it's that we wouldn't have to pay extra to get the comic in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
In about 2 weeks.
It's a convenience thing.
There was a convenience thing. For them, like a rush is within a week and a half at the time. If you wanted to pay a rush, otherwise the stuff was in about 2 weeks through in Comics Wellspring, and we needed it within 3 weeks. So we're like, okay, well, we don't have to pay extra, and we're going to get it faster and for a couple pennies less.
Mm-hmm.
And some other of the front rage comicers that we know swore by him, so we're like, okay, we'll give him a shot. But they don't do any sales like Indie Planet had their own do print on demand store and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one of the big things that I'm grateful to learn about with the big 2 market and the collectors market that's developed around it. that I did not grow up with, where everyone's talking about like all these score rate, these 9.8s and stuff, and they're putting their comics in these like hard plastic sealed containers and all this stuff. And they're doing these with Kablam comics with like 9.8s and up, for some orders of things like rags. And so that tells me they're doing something good, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, just don't bother doing that with anything that's sold on Indie Planet, because the whole collectability of a comic is that it becomes rare eventually, and it's worth something. If something's print on demand, it never becomes rare.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well,
That's one thing I think, really for most indie comics properties, the rarity is not going to be an issue.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're Brian Ball, then maybe, because people like their gingers, but
well, I just like the fact with print on demand that anybody can just hop into the story at any time. Like, be like, oh man, the first 12 issues are out of print and I'm going to have no idea what's going on. I guess I could get the digital, but I'm one of those guys who's fixed on print. Say, well, you could just start from the beginning now, and you've got a lot to work towards.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a lot to keep reading. Yeah.
I never really thought about it much, honestly.
The key, I think, is if you have the time and the energy to develop kind of like a two-tiered business approach, where you've got the special rare items for people during campaigns or whatever route you take to reward people who really want to invest. And then you've got you can also do the print on demand kind of thing, but make sure that those are, that's just for reading. That's not for collecting.
Yeah.
So you make it special.
I do think that's a big factor, and that's something that, and I mean, I'm kind of a weird person about it too, because I just have a love affair with all things like GarageBand, so kind of the I don't want to say the dingier it is, the better, but
so it's like a raw.
It's like that general punk underground scene.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just like
I'm the same.
The worn leather jacket and the rockabilly sensibilities. I mean, that's the whole, that's going to be a big part of the aesthetic that I'm working on with the Chad Little story when that gets moving. Is it's all about very street level, very neo mythic kind of thing with it. So
cool.
I actually have a story that's literally about a garage band that blows up overnight, and they have to deal with the industry coming out and trying to take them out.
Ah, cool.
It's the entire theme of the story.
That's fun.
Nice.
I think that's what it feels like. Is that's the appeal of it is the rawness, the realness of it, right? Of the process, and you can't lose that when you have that type of focus and that type of development.
Yeah, so I guess for you guys, Indie Planet would be a good approach, because it's just kind of pumps it out for you, and you got to wait 2 weeks, but you get it whenever you want it.
Yeah, and we've gone with some of that in the past, and I mean, when I said we were talking about this before you came on, Matt, but I recently got the keys to the back door for our website again.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super stoked.
Nice.
I've been able to add up some stuff, doing some just working on getting some stuff out there with the whole works, but it's I've been able to just go in and add up the stuff that I want to put in place and put up some new ads. I'm going to be building up the store, and we're going to be going, we're going to be selling 100% digital stuff in the store right now. And then probably after, if I can get the store put up before the mini-con, it's going to be all digital, and then I'll move to put some physical stuff on there for the Christmas season kind of thing. But
smart seasonal. What did you I forget. Did you tell me what store approach you took?
We have an installation of WooCommerce right now that was already installed, and their tools look pretty user friendly.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to try it out to make sure it's going to work for us. But I think that's what we're going to go with. It does take some learning curves to get it where I want it.
Mm-hmm.
But I need to. There's more stuff I need to add to the website anyway. It just needs. So I think that's going to be a good path to go with it.
Cool. Yeah, there's a lot of options nowadays. It's pretty fun. Like, I haven't tried to build a storefront in a few years, and I'm kind of surprised how easy it is nowadays, which is pretty encouraging. And it's all the more reason to like, we don't. It brings up that whole argument again of like when, at what point should you kind of detach yourself from, this assumption that you kind of need to like go on Indiegogo, or you need to have this like destination, or Amazon, like you got to go to their platform kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's easier and easier now to just you physically can do it very easily nowadays, build your own platform, but I guess the question remains, like, do people want to go there? So
yeah, I mean, it's all cost benefit analysis. I mean, everybody is in that place where they just got to make that decision for themselves about, what's going to be the best turnaround. How's it going to best meet the needs of your customers? What kind of things they want? I mean, like, especially like the digital model. I mean, that makes a ton of sense, I think, for us.
Yeah.
Just because, the low overhead and things.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, it's the same way. The reason I do pretty much everything digital, at least digital first, and then I might go to like print or something afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too, is you got to come to is like, are your customers people that read digital comics too? I mean, that's one of the big plays, right? Because like, I don't think somebody like I'm not trying to just pick names here, but somebody like Ethan Van Sciver probably would have a really hard time with a digital marketplace, just because he spent so long ragging against digital comics, where I think he just turned off that audience to his stuff.
I know that.
Yeah.
Well, in the same boat, if you kind of start with web comics, your marketplace is already digital comics from the beginning.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's been my experience too. Like even with crowdfunding, like I got into crowdfunding like a decade ago, back when it was there basically for, it was just for like webcomics people who they were done with their webcomic arc and now they wanted to make a book and sell it to the people who already read their webcomic digitally, So that's how I got introduced to it. That's what Kickstarter was, for years.
Or Brian Polito.
Or yeah, that and Brian Polito, which I'd never heard of him. I never heard of him till like 8 or 10 months ago.
That's weird to me. Well, of course you weren't into comics in the 90s, but
yeah.
Right. So Brian Polito, like his whole like brand isn't really like my thing, but Brian Polito is sort of an open secret. I've told a few times. He's sort of responsible for me getting into comics, like not into comic books themselves, but into self-publishing.
Yeah, you met him once?
Yeah, I got a chance to meet him at a con, and I told him the whole story. But basically, when Chris came to me and said we should self-publish, and I was like, dude, that's insane. He's like, no, yeah, but it's 100% crazy, but it's totally possible. And Chris laid out kind of the scheme, and we're still kind of doing that, the same plan Chris laid out to a certain extent today.
God rest his soul.
Yeah.
Just dead to bury.
Sorry, Chris. No, I talk.
That's not even true.
I bug him whenever I can.
Yeah. Chris is just in a different phase of his life right now. That's all that is. But anyway, But with it was a big factor for me was like back in '94 or whatever it was.
You met him in '94?
No. In '94, he had his Chaos Comics brand had the cover story in Wizard magazine that month, and it was self-publishing is insane. And the whole point of it is that it's crazy, it's hard work, it's exhausting, and it's 100% totally worth it. And I was just really, I mean, that memory stayed with me for like the next decade. So when Chris said, "Here's what I'm thinking. Here's my scheme. I know it'll work if we just get the product and keep going at it, and we can't fail because of X, Y, and Z, because it's only failure if we quit because of these various things." And I'm like, okay. Yeah, I can. And it was just one of those things where, that just reverberated, and that whole article just reverberated in the back of my mind, and like really affected the way I looked at the whole venture. So I got a chance to meet him, and I just laid the thing out here. And he's just like, it was a cool experience. It was a cool experience for sure.
No, I bet.
So I hope I'm not cutting anybody off. How did you get into it, Metal?
Into what specifically? Comics or web comics?
Yeah, wanting to do your own comics, doing the digital going forward and all that stuff.
Oh man, it's long. Well, because like I remember even being back in elementary school, and I was poorly made, but drawing full comic books.
Oh shit!
Like all through, like I would assemble them, and I'd have like 20-page comic books I would draw and pass around the class. Wow. Color them in like with color pencils and stuff like that. Draw them in like the half-folded books.
Yeah.
So I've been working on stuff for a long time, and what's weird is I actually started making comic books before I started reading comic books.
That's crazy. So did you like superheroes, or you like comics, or what was the?
Yeah. So the first comics I read were comic strips, like in the newspaper. And I think most people, the first comics, and I was big into mythology. Right. And, of course, about superheroes that grew up and you watch the Superman movie comes on TV and stuff like that. There's cartoons that come on, but I never really got into the comic books until I had already started making them. And I just thought like, okay, I like strips. Let's just extend this off into a book format, which I'm sure is probably how other people started making comic books in the first place back in the day. Right. It's like the same thought process. We'll just make them longer.
I think there's doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. So what led me on to reading comic books is I used to borrow or check out mythology books from my local library all the time. I was super big into mythology growing up. I probably read I think I cleared out the entire mythology section by the time I was in the 3rd grade.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like college level books and stuff like that.
That's 3rd grade. Yeah. That's
yeah. And then I was like bummed. And I was talking to a librarian. There's like, well, what did you like about the mythology? And we didn't have a copy of like the Hero with 1,000 Faces or anything. I'm sure it would have been close to that section, but basically it was the hero's journey is what I really liked about most of the myth stuff. I like the world building too of mythology, but mostly it's the hero's journey. So then my librarian pointed me over to comic books. They had a bunch of like trade paperbacks, anthology collections and stuff like that. And that's pretty much what I started reading. So I started in the back, like way in the past. I didn't get onto like 90s comics, even though I was reading comics in the 90s, until like a decade later because I had way too much to catch up on.
That's cool.
But yeah. And then actually it was even later than that because before I even got to 90s comics, it was probably the mid-aughts, and that's when like webcomics started blowing up, and they're free to read. So I didn't have to go and buy anything, and I didn't have to travel all the way to the library. And I just started reading a bunch of webcomics. And I kind of regret not starting a webcomic back when I was in high school, back in like the late aughts. Mm-hmm. I had ideas for it too. I was going to get ready. I had like a few pages drafted up, and I just never did it. It wasn't until 2018. Yeah, I think 2018 is when I put my first page up. It's kind of late. I should have started way earlier.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, the whole like the arc for webcomics. I mean, I guess it's done. Like, I guess it died when people. I don't know. You tell me if it's dead, but I guess it kind of waned after people stopped having like the bookmarking things and having like a favorites list they would kind of go through each day.
Eh.
Maybe the rise
Well,
of
the
social
thing is,
media, people just go on.
they kind of just changed form, right?
Yeah.
So like the your personal website thing, which mine actually gets pretty good views. Like I'm not complaining. It could get
Nice.
more, but having your own personal website with running ads and stuff like that's kind of done the way it used to be. But Webtoon is just webcomics, and that's super popular right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it eventually everything kind of aggregated, which is natural, into just a few websites that
Yeah.
you know 80% of people who ever use the internet are just using those 5 or 6 websites.
Yeah, you find the YouTube for webcomics, and then everybody's going to be on it.
Yeah, it's inevitable.
That's a big thing, actually. That's both of those things. Like I've always talked to Matt. Like the biggest thing we were trying to do when we were moving to a new platform or a new web host was streamlining everything, because people were lazy. You know, like I remember going on and reading 8-bit. What was it called? 8-bit.
8-bit Theater.
Yeah,
8-bit Theater is my all-time favorite webcomic.
Oh, man.
Classic.
2008. I just tore through that, but the whole thing. But people, if you get them, you know, the platform and just congregate all as much as you can there, they'll just go there and just eat up whatever they can right there, and they won't have to go someplace else. You know,
Sure.
the more convenient it is for people, the more streamlined it is. We'll just you know go there and be fine with that.
Mhm.
There's some funny things about the YouTube comic thing, especially like live comics. I actually bought a couple of years ago, and I haven't had a chance to implement it yet, which shame on me for that. But I bought Motion Artist. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that at all in any way. But it's
No.
interesting. And I'm not even sure if they even make it anymore. I'm not even sure if it's supported. But you can use whatever program you want and draw whatever you're going to do, and then you pull it into this program, and it'll make motion, like it'll like move the character into here and then move this here and move that stuff. And there are other programs that do that now. There are other programs now that like Photoshop does something. There's some other ones I've seen that are on the phones and stuff that you can do this type of stuff with. But this came out like 2 years ago, and I haven't even used it hardly. But you know, that's my fault for being lazy, I guess, or just getting busy with other things. But there's a couple other guys that cover like comics, like Benny, what's his name? Something Monster. He had a YouTube channel for a while, and he does a Twitch channel now too, where he streams games and other things. But he would pull in like all the current comics and just do them like he would, for copyright reasons, he would delete the things in the bubbles and stuff, but he would move them around and stuff and make them, and he would talk over it and voice over it and just make them real actiony and stuff, and he had good energy.
Nice.
So, so his channel blew up. I'm sure he's got over 1 million. When I left, I stopped watching him because he was covering a lot of the comics that were just, he was doing it just because he was growing his channel that way and stuff. It was great and it was fun that way. But the comics, it was from the current Marvel stuff, and it just wasn't things that I cared to follow. So
Yeah.
that's about 1.5 years ago. But
That was a big deal 1.5 years ago. I learned so much about comic IPs from the big two that I did not grow up with or have any particular interest in. But it was like, well, this is the news. This is the thing that we're all trying to learn about right now. So I might as well pay attention.
Yep.
Yeah. Learn more about Iceman than I ever knew.
Ever care for.
There's a
I
subject.
can't rightfully call it Iceman.
Hey guys, I gotta call it, man.
Iceman. I'm confused now.
I've got to call it. I got some stuff I got to finish up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Some of the world stuff, but yeah. I actually just about finished the flats on like 3 pages while we're sitting here. So
Beautiful. I love it. We're all working.
Except for me.
You were just hanging and you were just chilling.
Yeah, well, I'm up until like 5 a.m. anyway. I'll get plenty of work done.
So for those of you guys who may watch this on replay, if anyone makes it this far, Ideal Comics on Patreon Forces of Good and Evil, our flagship title, is on hiatus, probably till the middle of 2021 at least. We're working on some print stuff. If you want to follow along, if you want to support the dream, throw us a buck. And whenever we get stuff printed, well, once we get stuff put together, for $1 you get e-comics. For $5 you get physicals. So once they're next thing ready to go, of course, now Barry, I did not actually before I go, I didn't actually see the page you were talking about. It didn't come up on my screen here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did anyone see what I was working on?
No, I just thought Reese didn't want to share it or something.
I that's hilarious.
Like, oh, he must not like it.
The whole way, you have to like double click on this.
I kept looking and I didn't see it. So
Like Barry's talking about something, but I don't know. I'm not supposed to see it.
As he does. That's hilarious. Well, yeah, let me. That's a. Oh man.
I did double check the script on the shared drive, and that is page 4. Page 1 is the dream. Page 2, he wakes up. Page 3, actually maybe page 5.
Do you have to enable me, Reese? I'm not sure if it'll let me.
No.
I'm hitting the share.
It should just have a share screen thing for me.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. Whoa, everything's on there.
Yep. So
I really like it, man.
cool.
Great action on it.
Yeah, that's what I was trying. Just trying to make sure because I don't know about you guys. I grew up like when I was little, like Gleaming the Cube was huge and stuff. And I was all about skateboarding for a while, but I just never got the chance.
Yeah, I was never any good at it.
Secret love for.
I was more of a rollerblade guy.
Oh, I don't know if we can be friends then. Isn't there like some sort of secret rivalry there? But anyway, I never got a chance, honestly. So yeah, so I like to make the skateboarding as dynamic as I can. And
Okay, so going over the first 4 pages real quick. Page 1 is the dream. Page 2, X wakes up. Page 3, he scopes out the 24/7 mart and spots Mark. And page 5 is the Mark flashback in the park. That's the one that's page 4. That's the one you're at right now.
so that's page 4.
That's page 4.
Well, shit. So what was page 2 then?
Page 2 is when X wakes up.
Okay, so when he's like all tired and then things come on the TV.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was getting ready to work on that the next one. So
Yep. That's
I'll
page.
jump onto that.
Yeah, because we took them out of chronological order.
Really.
So okay, well, everybody, we're gonna go ahead and kill it. Yeah, give us love. Bye.
Bye.
Catch up later. See ya.
See you guys.